Safety data sheets are commonly called SDSs. Chemical manufacturers and importers need to obtain or develop a safety data sheet for each hazardous chemical that they produce or import. Employers must have a safety data sheet in the workplace for each hazardous chemical which they use. Where employees must travel between workplaces during a work shift, in other words, their work is carried out at more than one geographical location, the safety data sheets may be kept at a primary workplace facility. SDSs are required to be presented in a consistent, user-friendly 16-section format. Let's examine an SDS for a common chemical that many of us use on a regular basis. Let's look at propane from ConocoPhillips. Notice in Section 1 the identification of the substance. The product name is propane. There's an SDS number which allows the manufacturer to quickly identify the chemical. There's synonyms, which are some of the common names that people may call it, such as C3 or LP gas. There's the intended use and what it's for, the manufacturer, and very important, especially in an emergency situation, is the emergency number to call. Notice in Section 2 under the hazard identification, it's very easy to see what kind of hazard this chemical is. You see the flame pictogram and the gas cylinder pictogram. There's the one-word explanation which says danger. It's extremely flammable gas and it contains gas under pressure and may explode if heated. In addition, the precautionary statements are listed in Section 2, which allows you to know how to handle this chemical properly. Section 3 contains the composition information on the ingredients. Section 4 contains the first aid measures. For example, in Section 4, what would you do if someone was handling a propane tank and it leaked and they got the liquefied gas in their eyes? Well, in Section 4, you can see the eye contact says, for contact with liquefied gas, remove contact lenses if present and easy to do. Hold the eyelids apart and gently flush the affected eyes with lukewarm water. Seek immediate medical attention. Section 5 contains the firefighting measures for the hazardous chemical. Notice the NFPA, or the National Fire Protection Agency, hazard class. We already know from Section 2 that the propane is a highly flammable material. In Section 5 under the firefighting measures, the NFPA hazard class shows that it is a severe fire hazard. How would you extinguish a propane fire? Well, in Section 5 we can find that information fairly quickly. Notice the bold heading, extinguishing media. Dry chemical or carbon dioxide is recommended. Section 6 describes what to do in the case of an accidental release. In Section 7, you'll see the handling and storage for propane. Notice the third paragraph. It says propane and odorant are heavier than air and will collect and pool along the ground or the floor. Odorant, therefore, may not be detectable above the location of propane storage or service. For example, odorant and propane released or leaked into the basement of a dwelling may not be detected above the basement. This can be very important information to know when storing or inspecting propane tanks. Section 8 in the SDS details the exposure controls and the personal protection equipment for this chemical. Keep in mind that many hazardous chemicals require specialized equipment and specialized training in order to handle them properly. Section 9 contains the physical and chemical properties of the chemical. Section 10 details the stability and reactivity of the product. Section 11 details the toxicological information. This information includes the potential toxic effect if the chemical was inhaled or absorbed through the skin or ingested or swallowed. Section 12, ecological information. Section 13, disposal considerations. Section 14, transport information. Section 15, regulatory information. Sections 12 through 15 are not required by OSHA, but may be helpful information in handling the chemical. In Section 16, other information including the date of preparation or last revision of the SDS. where complex mixtures of chemicals are used in the workplace and those mixtures have similar contents and hazards. In other words, the chemical ingredients are essentially the same, but the specific composition varies from mixture to mixture. The chemical manufacturer, the importer, or their employer may prepare one safety data sheet to apply to all of these similar mixtures. When a hazardous chemical has components that are a trade secret, the components are not required to be listed on the SDS. However, the hazards and safety information for the chemical will be included.